Good morning and welcome to the midweek edition of I'm Still Playing. Now, I know I said that I was going to get these out on Thursday morning going forward, but I wanted to get this video out a little bit earlier this week so you guys could have this info. I've said before that this expansion was probably one of the best Blizzard has put out for a long time for solo players. And with this week's weekly reset, Blizzard has dropped one of the features that makes it so. I'm talking about the story mode version of the raid. So what is that? Well, it is an entirely soloable instance of the raid designed specifically to allow you to participate in the story and to fight the boss and to see the final cinematic without actually having to queue for LFR or go to YouTube to watch the cinematic or talk to an NPC. And that's pretty exciting, right? Now, I gotta say, I was a little bit disappointed in Blizzard's promotion of this feature, which is to say they didn't promote it at all. They really, there's very little mention of it in the release notes. And when you log in after the weekly reset, there's no talking head. There is no automatically procced quest for you. They really pretty much leave it entirely up to you to go find the quest and to get it started. And that's why I'm putting this video out here for you today, so that you don't have to go scour the forums like I did. Now, before we go too far, I do want to say one word on spoilers. This video will have some footage of the quests leading up to the raid, and then I'll have some video footage from the fight itself with the boss, just so you have some idea of what to expect when you get there. But I will not have any footage of the cinematics. I mean, the whole point of you doing the story mode raid is to experience the cinematics for yourself, right? And not to watch them on YouTube. So no cinematics or anything like that, but there will be some footage from the fight. And I will be talking about who the boss is, although I don't think that's too much of a spoiler. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get to it. Okay, to get started, you're going to come to Executor Nizrek here in the City of Threads. Executor Nizrek can be found right here inside the Royal Apothecary. That's at location 5246. You want to make sure you're actually in the Executor or in the City of Threads before you do your waypoint for that location, because remember, they're slightly different than they are when you're outside the city. Don't be surprised if you get attacked by an assassin while you're standing here talking to the Executor. One of the quests here generates an assassin, and as you can see, you're going to get smacked by it while you're having a chat. So Executor Nizrek is going to have the quest, The Beginning of the End, and that's really the starting quest for the chain that leads up to the raid. You're going to have a series of quests here. I think there's 4 or 5 altogether. I'm not entirely sure. But in short, you really just want to do all of these quests. So all of these quests do take place in the City of Threads around the area of the Apothecary. Some of them are in the bazaar, some of them are down in the burrows. They're not too hard, although you will be dealing with the guards, that are always trying to see you, and some of them you'll need to kill in order to fill the bar, which then causes the eradicators to come after you and to try to kick you out of the city. I did get kicked out of the city eventually, I think when I finished the very last one. But yeah, it's not too difficult. You just need to run around and complete all of these quests. You're going to be helping the citizens, you're going to be defeating eradicators and guards, that sort of thing, all doing cool stuff for Executor Nizrek. Eventually, Executor Nizrek's quest will leave you to doing quests for an NPC called Kutusul down in the areas down below. Again, not too hard, nothing really unexpected. I will have one pro tip for you. The last one where you go to kill the Master Abducator, he is on the Master Abductor. He is on the 2nd floor. He is not on the 1st floor. Don't do what I did here, which is to fall down and then run into Zistek, thinking he was the person you were trying to kill, because that turns really ugly really quickly, and you want no part of that. At least I certainly didn't. That was my one death. So, yeah, he's on the 2nd floor. Take the stairs up around to the left and go to the top. And then once you've done that little series of quest line up to the final quest, the whole thing took me maybe about 20 minutes or so to do, so not too bad at all. You're going to come back to Executor Nizrek here, and you're going to get the quest to kill a queen. And that is the actual raid quest. So yeah, it's not too bad. This is the one that leads you to the raid. If you were going to do LFR or do the raids for real, then you could go and do the raids at this point, and you have the quest to actually complete it. But what we're going to do is we're going to do the raid in story mode. So I thought maybe Executor Nizrek was the person you talked to actually kick this mission off. And in fact, you can see I'm like, hey, do I need to do something else here? Do I need to talk to you again? But no, you don't talk to this person again. And they will give you a quest marker to tell you where to go. So you just head on out of the Apothecary, make your way across. And the person we're going to want to see is a little NPC over to the right of the raid area. You can see the raid area up there in front of me, the little raid entrance, circling in green. We're going to go see this little fellow down on the right side, whose name is Chris the Loyal, the Queen's attendant, right? And Chris the Loyal you talk to, and he's going to be like, hey, you can enter the palace in story mode right here. And that begins the story mode raid. And you'll queue it up for you. You will have already selected your profession for you. And what the story mode raid is essentially a follower mode dungeon version of the raid. You're put in a group of 10 NPCs, you and 9 other NPCs. However, the follower mode, it doesn't have the mode that you, or the button that you have in follower mode to actually kick off and say, hey, tank, go do the raid for me. In fact, you can see I was clicking on it right there and was selecting the version, was selecting my flying button because that's where that button usually lives. So you're going to head on down the line here and down the ramp here and just start the fight yourself. Queen Ansarak will drop from the ceiling. She's going to give you a little exposition, talk about how you've ferreted out the rot in her palace, and then you're going to get after the fight. Overall, I found the fight to be not too rough. Now, I've been doing delves at tier 7, so I'm geared up to around 580 at this point, so I'm probably a little over-geared for this fight. And like I said, there are some mechanics that happen. You need to dodge the lines. It's got 2 phases in the fight. I'm not going to give you a full guide on the fight. If you want a guide for the fight, there are tons of Nerubar raid guides out there if you actually want some info. I came into this fight with completely no knowledge of the boss fight whatsoever, and was able to do it on my first attempt. So I don't think it's going to be too difficult, especially if you've even got a little bit of gear. But literally, you could be coming off of just finishing the campaign, and I think you'll be geared enough to do this without too much difficulty. Avoid the bad. Look at me, I'm trying to run away. Stay out of it. I didn't, because I'm terrible at these sort of things, which is why we do it in story mode, right? To have a good time. Just so you know, after this fight, like I said, there is a cinematic, which I'm not going to show. There is no loot for this fight, and I do find that a little bit disappointing because I would expect to be at least a little bit of low-level gear, maybe even the same level of gear that you get from a normal dungeon or from the follower dungeons. I mean, there's just to kind of complete the experience of killing a boss and getting loot from it. But as of right now, there's only the one boss and there's no loot from this fight. And that's really pretty much it in a nutshell. You're just going to go find that NPC in the City of Threads, chat with them, do their series of quests, which will take you about 20 minutes, and then get the quest over to the raid. Go over to the raid, talk to the little NPC standing outside the raid on the right, go into the instance, fight the boss, watch the cinematics, win. I would say loot, but there's nothing to loot. You guys let me know in the comments below what you thought about the instance, if you enjoyed it, if you think the story mode raid is kind of cool, the fact that you're able to participate in the final part of the game without having to queue for LFR, and let me know what you think. In the meantime, you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.